Welcome back to Just the Facts, y'all. My name is Jimmy, and here's our next NBA playoffs preview and prediction video. Sixers, Wizards. Let's get straight into it. How the hell are we going to guard Joel Embiid? How the hell are the Wizards going to guard Joel Embiid? That's the question. I think Embiid's going to have a very, very dominating series. I think he's going to go for he can go for 30 and 11, 30 and 12 rebounds on really good efficiency. I just don't see any way the Wizards can slow this guy down. As we know that the Wizards aren't a good defensive team whatsoever, but they have gotten at least a little better than they were in the beginning of the season. I guess that's something. But with the three big man rotation that the Wizards have with Lopez, Alex Len, and Daniel Gafford, of course, I think that could actually be beneficial while guarding Joel Embiid, because we know Joel Embiid likes to draw a lot of fouls, and a lot of opposing big men tend to get in real foul trouble because Embiid just is so good at seeking contact. So I don't think any guy in particular will be in huge foul trouble, but at the same time, I don't think any of the guys that the Wizards have can even come close to Embiid. You know what I mean? Gafford, I think, obviously is the best choice to go with for the majority of the time, but even he at times is not disciplined. He at times jumps unnecessarily. He at times gets out of position, and he's relatively a skinnier dude. Joel Embiid, him being 260, he's gonna outmuscle him, I think, a lot of the time. And then we talk about Robin Lopez. Embiid, when he's on the perimeter, he can just blow by Robin Lopez, honestly. He can out-finesse him, honestly. And then Alex Len, same thing. Alex Len, he can get out-finesse as well, and Alex Len is not really as disciplined, even though he's more disciplined than Daniel Gafford. But I think Daniel Gafford is the guy to go with. If I had to pick one guy to be on Embiid, it would be Daniel Gafford, but I'm not liking the chances of the Wizards guarding Embiid either way. So are the Wizards going to trap, double team, any of that stuff versus Embiid? Well, knowing Scott Brooks, probably not. Like I said with the Hawks in the earlier preview and prediction video, they don't have the defensive personnel to be able to scramble all day long and be very, very successful at it once a guy is being double teamed. But so I'm not really sure what the Wizards are going to do here, man. I guess you can try to double team Embiid, trap him, and not no weak double teams. Double teams some unexpected ones coming from the baseline and all this type of stuff to get him really, really flustered out there. The Sixers are hard to guard, man, and I haven't even got to Ben Simmons yet. But talking about Tobias Harris, I think he's due for a pretty big series. I'm not sure who's going to really be on him. I'm assuming Rui's going to be on Simmons for the most part. But we'll see what the matchups are really looking like. Whether he's catching and shooting, whether he's in a post mid-range, driving to the basket, all those things. Him being linked up with Doc Rivers once again, I think really, really will help him. Doc Rivers puts him in the right spots in order for him to succeed. Danny Green, Shake Milton, Seth Curry are all going to be guys that are going to be knocking down shots from the perimeter. Matisse Thybulle is going to come in and knock down some threes and play exceptional defense. I'll get to that in a minute. And talking about Ben Simmons, obviously the Wizards don't want to turn the ball over too much, because when the Sixers get out, transition is done. It's free game. The Sixers are going to be unstoppable once they get in the fast break. So I think getting back on defense, the turnovers, which I'm really concerned with. Brad and Russ turn the ball over a good amount with both of them combined. So with Simmons on the fast break and things like that, I'm not sure if Rui would be up to that challenge just yet. We'll see though. And then I think Simmons will obviously get some post-ups himself. I think he'll get some mismatch opportunities that he can attack. There's a lot of guys to attack on the Wizards. There's a lot of guys to put in pick and rolls. Bertans, Ish Smith, Neto. There's so many guys that you can pick apart Honestly, there's too many holes for the Wizards, man, for the Sixers not to exploit it. I want to see a lot of Simmons, not a lot of, but I want to see some Simmons and Embiid pick and rolls them, and I want to see how exactly Doc Rivers elects to play Ben Simmons. Obviously, Ben Simmons is not going to be standing at the 3-point line because that does nothing for the offense. It makes it easier for the defense. I think Simmons, when Embiid has a post or something like that, will be cutting, will be standing in a dunker spot, and maybe setting off-ball screens for Danny Green, for Seth Curry to come off of, for Korkmaz to come off of, and things like that. And I think the Sixers, they got a lot of options, man. And for the Wizards, I don't really see them slowing them down, honestly. Like, the only guy that that I have any faith in defensively is Rui and Gafford. But knowing that Gafford's going up against Embiid, you don't really stand a chance, man. And even when Embiid is not in the game, you got Dwight Howard coming in, getting offensive rebounds, setting great screens, and rolling to the rim, lob threat, all those things. It's just going to be hard for the Wizards to guard this team. But onto the Wizards offensively, how exactly are they going to guard Beal and Westbrook? I think it'll shake down like this. Simmons will be on Russ because most teams now love putting like size on Russ, love putting a 6'8", 6'9" guy on Russ. We've seen Anthony Davis guarding Russ. We've seen Jason Tatum guarding Russ. We've seen Rudy Gobert guarding Russ. Like, we've seen that over the past couple years or so, and teams are really, really sticking to that. So I think it's going to be the same thing here. Simmons is going to be on Russ, and I think it's a better matchup that way because I wouldn't put Simmons on Beal anyways, because Beal tends to come off the ball more than he's like going ISO mode. But like, so coming off of screens and all screens, curls, pin downs, all those things. I think Danny Green, Matisse Thybulle are more equipped to guard Bradley Beal. Simmons is more equipped to guard Russell Westbrook, because if like Danny Green was on Russell Westbrook would eat, honestly. That's just what I think would happen. But I think they're going to have to try to exploit a mismatch of some sort, whether it's Danny Green on Russ, whether it's I think Beal would have his way against Danny Green. That's just my opinion. I think when Shake Milton comes into the game, Russ will attack him. I think whenever Korkmaz is in the game, Russ and Beal will attack him. And obviously Seth Curry, they'll attack him. So I think Matisse Thybulle is going to get a good amount of minutes guarding Beal, guarding Westbrook here and there. And as long as he can knock down shots, Matisse Thybulle can knock down shots, I think he'll be a pretty good player in this series, man, and get quality minutes guarding these guys. Rui Hachimura has to come up big. Sometimes it's like, wow, Rui's turned himself into a really great second-year player. But then sometimes it's like, where is Rui? And a lot of that is due to Scott Brooks' rotations, inconsistent rotations. Hopefully Rui can stay out of foul trouble. He got in foul trouble in that Boston game. That really allowed Tatum to explode for 50. He wasn't out there, picked up a couple of early fouls. So if Rui can stay out of foul trouble, knock down his little mid-range shot, him and Russ with their two-man game, they've built some really good chemistry off of that. And even with Beal, they're going to double-team Beal here and there occasionally. I think they're going to sporadically double-team. And Beal's pretty good, but he can be better. He's pretty good at finding the open guy when he's getting doubled, when he sees the double team coming. And a guy like Rui can really, really help out with that. A guy like Neto can really, really help him in his ball handling as well. Ish Smith as well with his ball handling. Can Bertans hit a damn three-point shot with consistency? He's been up and down this year. He's had his moments where he hits 7, 8 threes, but he's had his moments where he's 0 of 8 from 3, and it's like, okay, bro, if Davis Bertans is not going to hit threes, there is literally zero reason for him to be in the game. Zero. Because every team that we go up against exploits Davis Bertans, and we have to overhelp, and that leaves the floodgates open for everyone else on the opposing team for 3, because we have to help Davis Bertans. he's a liability, man. If he's not gonna knock down shots, I do not want to see Scott Brooks leaving him in the game for an extended period of time, waiting and hoping that he'll finally knock down a shot. It's not worth it, especially in the playoffs, man. You have to go to your best guys, your best lineups as fast as possible. And with Scott Brooks as the coach, I don't really have too much faith that he'll do the right thing. Speaking of minutes and all those things, hopefully Gafford, if he stays out of foul trouble, will get the bulk of the minutes. As long as he's playing the best defense on Joel Embiid, of course. Daniel Gafford is obviously a lob threat himself. He hopefully can help us out with some offensive rebounds. We're going to miss a lot of shots. Philly has a great defense. So having a guy like him, Robin Lopez, getting offensive rebounds is going to be really, really helpful for us. And obviously him being a lob threat makes things even a little bit easier for us, especially with Beal coming off the pick and roll, especially Russ coming off the pick and roll. With that being said, man, I think the Sixers will win this series in 5 games. I think Beal and Westbrook will get a game where they just go absolutely nuts and, Embiid and them struggle. But other than that, I don't really see the Wizards doing too much, man. It's been a great run, like going from 15 games to under 500 to being an 8th seed in the playoffs. It's crazy, man. Hopefully Beal is actually healthy. I forgot to talk about his hamstring. Hopefully he's healthy and he's not really hampered too much. Hopefully, I don't know. We'll see about Beal and his hamstring and if it's healed or not. If he's not really healed and can't move the way he wants to, I think he's going to be pretty inefficient, because there are times in the both play-in games, where he usually would go all the way to the rim, but he'd do a floater and miss the floater. Or he'd settle for a mid-range shot where he could have drove all the way to the basket. Things of that nature. But we'll see, man. Sixers in 5. With that being said, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'm out.